Hey guys, it's me, Dhaiki, that's the I, and it's been a while me sitting down talking with my coffee. I made it now, and this video is going to be everything that you guys have asked me about XLRI. So it's Feb now, and I am well aware of the fact that the Excel interviews are going on, and people are bombarding me with questions in the comment section, in the DMs, and it's not really possible for me to individually answer. So I'm making this video. I think this will be more than one part video because there are a lot of questions. I wrote it down and I will try my best to answer that. Before jumping into the video, one more question which I get a lot. People have mailed me that whether I'm giving those one-to-one mentoring sessions, which I talked about it last year while I was filming the sit-down videos, the interview videos. I will link the playlist here. So yes, I'm giving them, but the number of sessions which I can, give is a lot lesser right now because of my hectic schedule. So I really need to check, and there is a bit of back and forth going on. So if you want to avail, please mail me, and then we can fix a time which will work for both you and me, and then the process will move forward. So yeah, just wanted to plug that in. And now let's start the actual video. Now coming to the most asked question, that what is the difference between the HRM and BM course? There is a very fine line between them, and I have made some subparts so that I can answer them better. First is the cutoff. The cutoff for BM is a bit higher than HR, and I think you all have got that cutoff table. If I get it, I will plug it in here. If not, guys, check XLRI's website, it's there. The BM course obviously is a bit more holistic, like a general management, where you are taught every subject like marketing, operation, finance, and in second year you can take your desired specialization like you do in a general MBA. And the HRM course, as the name suggests, yes, we are taught different subjects like marketing, finance, but it's not in details. So we are taught that, suppose in one term or two terms, the specializations that we take are more inclined towards HR, and the roles which we get is also HR specific. Now coming to the placements, many of you guys have this confusion whether HR people are allowed to sit for like general placements. Yes, they are. It's not that you only get HR specific roles. You are allowed to sit for a lot of GenMan roles, finance, operation. A lot of people are actually have gone for Prodman. So it depends on your profile and not whether you are from HRM or BM. Schedule of the two courses. Now you might think that I'm saying this because I'm an HRM student and I'm biased, but it's not the case. You can ask any and every person who is living on campus. HR curriculum is more hectic than BM people, and we HR folks are jealous. Like, they get a lot of free time, and the way that their curriculum is made is, I won't say it's very chill. Like, yes, that is difficult, but not as difficult as the HR course. Now when I came here, I had this notion that okay, the cutoffs for HR are lower, so maybe the curriculum will also be much more chiller for HR, because we have this notion in mind, okay, if someone is like studying HR, it's not as difficult as the other courses. But here it's the complete opposite. We have more submissions, we have more assignments, we have more subjects, more credits to achieve, and everything is more. So yeah, if you have selected BM, then you will get a lot of chill days and weekends. We HR folks don't get weekends, to be honest. We have classes on Saturdays and sometimes even on Sundays, or some multiple projects and submission. So yeah, all the best for that. What are the other differences between the HR and BM folks? Not much. We live in the same hostel, we all are friends. We go to the same building that is called the LC, that is the Learning Center, where we have different classes. And BM has 4 sections, A, B, C, D, and HR only has 3, that is A, B, and C. So the number of people who are taken in for HR are lesser compared to BM. So we only have 180 seats right now for HR, and 215 seats for BM, if I'm not wrong, 210 or 215, something like that. And for XLRI Delhi, they don't have any HRM course, they only offer the BM course. So if you see, the number of BM folks taken into XLRI is a lot more than the HRM folks. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the difference between the BM and the HRM course. It's not much of a difference, it's just the specialization and the academic curriculum which we go through. Otherwise, we are all in the same boat, guys. The second topic is the class timing and the curriculum and how it is spread across the year. So this is like basic. We are here for 2 years. The first year we have a trimester, so term 1, term 2, term 3, and then we go for the summer internship during the summer break. Then we come back as the senior year and do term 4, term 5, term 6. It's pretty much explanatory, but since I'm making a video, I'm saying that out in detail. Now the class timings. On a very regular day, the classes start at 9 and it goes on till 5:30. So the maximum you can have is 4 classes on a regular day. Yes, there can be extra classes, pending classes that can be scheduled at night, but if you just see a regular day, there will be 4 classes and each class will be 1.5 hours. So from 9 to 10:30, and then you will get a half an hour break. What we do is in that half an hour break, probably doing some pending assignment or sleeping or getting a coffee for ourselves for the next class, which starts from 11. And then you get a lunch break in between, and then again, like, it goes on. It's not necessary that you will have 4 classes every single day of the week. So you get your timetable on the app. Again, the number of classes will depend on the credits of the subjects that you have in the course. It's complicated, guys, but you will surely figure it out once you are here. What about holidays and Sunday chutti rehta hai kya? No. Look, I don't want to be mean, but you really don't get time here. So there is no concept like weekends, right? Again, it depends on the course, it depends on the classes and the term. Like the term 1 was extremely hectic for everyone. Whether it's BM or HRM, everyone was going through the summer internship process and there were committees and everything was going on like all at once. And people say that if you have survived term 1 at XLRI, then you can survive anything in this world. And I agree with it. Like, I used to think that I'm a very productive person. I am like, I know it all. I have everything under control. It's not that. Once you survive term 1, you appreciate your time, like, and know like what's your capabilities. That can be like a 1 hour of me ranting about term 1 at Excel. So let's not talk about it right now. So yeah, holidays. Again, no, you don't get a separate holiday. Suppose it's Durga Puja or Christmas. Like, yes, there can be a case where there are no classes. Again, there can be a case, because I remember me sitting, giving interviews during Durga Puja, especially on Ashtami, so which I have never ever thought that I won't get a holiday on Durga Puja. So yeah, there are events on campus during festivals, so you can go enjoy that. But you don't just think that you will get as a separately holiday. So what about vacations? So once a term is over, you get about a week gap. It's, to be very specific, 7 to 9 days at most. And you can go home, go to vacation with your friends, do anything basically, and then return on the specific date which the admin office have said. And you need to come back on that very day and start your term 2. Similarly, you will get a week's break after every term. And yeah, that's the thing, you don't really get time to go outside campus or go exploring. It's not very lenient here. So yeah, whether it's a festival, whether it's some special day, you just have to be here spending time with your friends. since all the topics which I've answered till now are academic related, let me just stick to those, and the other questions I can make a separate video, like the fest, cultural committees, and so on and so forth, the SIP process. The next question is a pretty basic question, but I've been asked this: what about the books and how the subjects are taught? So no, you don't have to buy any books, anything from outside. We have a library which is open 22 hours a day, and yeah, everything that you will need for that subject, whether it be books, case materials, graphs, xerox, everything would be provided by library, and you have to collect the books from there, and everything would be given, the instructions and all will be given once you reach here. Yes, you will need a laptop for sure. Make sure it's a good laptop. You don't need a expensive as gaming laptop, but at the same point of time, don't make sure that it has a decent battery life. When you will be joining Excel, you will be given a list. I remember getting a list that these are the bare minimum things that should be in your laptop. My one was probably okayish for that, so I am still using that. You don't need to buy other laptop for Acceleri. Let me just make that clear out here. Oh, about notes. You can take your notes on a notebook, which you can buy here, or you can take your notes digitally, or you can type. Most of the professors are okay with any form of note taking which you do. They don't have any issues. iPad, laptop, notebook, anything works. But there are a few profs who don't like your laptop open or any digital devices during your classes. So they will specifically ask you to take your notes on a piece of paper or a notepad. So yeah, apart from that, everything is chill. Okay, now coming to the most scary thing which I'll be explaining on this video. Guys, I'm not trying to scare you here, but this is truth. I'm not making this shit up. Just giving a heads up. The question is, do people fail at Excel? If yes, what happens? Yes, people do fail at Excel. People just think, Acceleri folks are like 99 percentile. They are pretty smart. No, guys, the profs are smarter. They just make a paper which can fail a lot of people, and I have seen people fail. I was one of those people. Thankfully, let me just go step by step. The grading system. It's A plus A, B plus B, C plus C, and then it comes D plus D and F. D plus D and F are seen as a fail grade. If you get an F, you get a -1 credit. If you get a D and a D pause, you get, I think, 0.67 and 0.5 negative grade. If your negative grade in an entire year crosses -1.67, that can be 1 F and 1 D, or more than 3 D pause, like in the term, then you are out of Excel. I'm not kidding. I am not. This is not a joke. And yeah, we thought it was a joke, and in Excel is a big deal. So people just can't randomly throw people out of Excel just because they failed in 3 subjects out of 3 or 2 subjects out of like 27 subjects. But that happened. So people can leave Excel. Study, guys, study. That I thought it was a joke. So I got a D pause in one subject in term 1. Long story. Not my fault completely, but a very controversial long story. But yes, you can get a fail grade. If you are getting more than 1, you can be thrown out of Excel. What happens after that? You don't have to give XAT again, or go through the entire process again. Your seat is basically saved, but your 1 year is wasted and you are given the same seat again the next year. If you think like that, you're just wasting time and a lot of money, because 1 year fee. It's a scary shit which we went through after term 1, and I hope that no one fails. Yeah, don't want to scare you, just a heads up. Study at Excel, because XLRI is extremely academically oriented, like they put academics here. Everything can go for a toss. A catch should be on point. Whether you're sleeping, eating, doesn't matter. Your assignments should be submitted. You should be in class. Oh, another thing, absenteeism. So for every 3 credit course, like most of our courses are 3 credit, we have to attend 20 classes per term, right? So you are allowed to only be absent for 4 classes, not more than that. So even if you are like absent for 5 classes, no matter what the reason is, right? It doesn't matter if you're sick, if you're out of campus for some case comms, you cannot be absent for more than 4 classes unless you have a special permission. If you are absent, then you get a grade drop. So that means if at the end of the term you are getting a B pos, you will be shifted to a B. If you are getting a B, then you will be shifted to a C pos. Now that seems reasonable to few folks out there, but think of a situation that you are getting a C, and because of your absenteeism, it gets a D pos. So that would be a failed grade, guys. And again, it increases the chances of you getting out and wasting a year. So don't be absent. It's not negotiable. Coming from a senior, because you guys are seeing this right now, don't be absent. Go to your class, take your notes and study. That's the only good advice I can give for people who are joining Excel. Okay guys, so I think that is it for this video. Obviously a lot more questions are left, and I will be making more parts to this and linking them there. So please like, share, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. And yeah, and thank you for 2,000 subscribers. I recently hit that, plus my monetization was started. It's been years I've been working on this, so I just wanted to say thank you to you guys. And yeah, see you in my next video. Bye.